Hello and welcome back to another evening of racing here at Syndicate Motorsport. I am Pirate Lazybeam and I'll be doing the commentary for today's stream. Of course we are back with the DTM League and Carl Lover has just joined the chat exactly when I started speaking, so welcome Carl Lover, how are you doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. Hey Viles, how's it going? Well, you join us here for round number 5 of the championship. That's round 5 of 8. And we're here at Magny Cours, which I believe is how you pronounce that, but I'm not entirely sure. And we're at the 1992 version of the circuit, which of course is where they would have raced the DTM cars at that point in time. So let's kick off with a little bit of the standings and the results from the previous rounds. I'll just flash up the standings so you guys get an idea of where we are at the moment. Andrew still leading the charge with Red in P2, Michael in P3, and you can see the ballast levels are indicated there on the screen. Andrew actually with slightly less ballast now going into round 5, despite having the most points and finishing P2 in both races last round. He has actually had a slight reduction in ballast by just a few kilos, just because everyone else is generally gathered a bit more in the way of points, so his percentage of the total points has actually dropped. But at the moment you can see Andrew, despite his ballast, is still qualifying in P2 or practicing in P2 at the moment with a 1:46.528, second only to a new joiner to the championship, Giametta, who has joined, and as before, late joiners to the league are given the average of ballast across the championship, so Giametta is actually up there with 24 kilos, which is considerably less than Andrew, but given they've joined the league late, you don't really have any reference points, so we give them the average. So let's talk a little bit about what happened at the end of last round, and while we're doing that we'll quickly pop over to a bit of action for you to watch in the shape of Neo here in the 190E. So we had a few tickets issued at the end of the last round. I'll just talk you guys through that now. So we had 3 tickets raised, well 4 actually. One was basically a non-incident and didn't result in any tickets. The other 3 did. The first of which was Pixel and Red, resulting in a 10-second penalty and 10 penalty points for Pixel because of bump drafting, which caused Red to lose control on the straight. It was also on the opening lap. Hemi and Neo. Hemi made contact with Neo whilst going side by side through a chicane, causing Neo to spin. That resulted in a 10-second penalty and 10 penalty points. And then Andrew and Neo. Andrew made contact with Neo, resulting in a minor incident, and that resulted in a 5-second penalty and 5 penalty points. None of those tickets were challenged, so they are now official, and the consequent impact on ballast, etc., has been calculated. So everyone who's running in the championship right now, all their points and their ballast is based on the outcome of those incidents. Hopefully we'll have a cleaner race here at round number 5, but it's an interesting track, not one that I'm actually particularly familiar with. Of course, located in France, it was an F1 circuit, probably potentially still is. There's also other types of racing which appears to be ongoing here still. But also in the 90s, oh gosh, Neo decided to turn into a bicycle there, going on 2 wheels. Yeah, was used for DTM, I believe, hence why it's part of the lineup. And it'll be interesting to see how the drivers deal with this today. A lot of them have mentioned that they haven't really driven here before, so it's a new one for both myself and some of the drivers, and be interesting to see how we get on. 17 drivers out there on the track at the moment. We should hopefully have a few more joining in due course, but we do have a few drivers who couldn't make it today, Biles included. Hey Zaddy, no problem at all. And Carl, have I got a puncture today? That's not good news. Is that a car tyre puncture or another type of vehicle puncture? Never good fun when that happens. Ah, okay, so getting a media pass, front right tyre, oh, not good. So we only have 50 seconds left of practice, and as with all of the events thus far, we'll be following the same format today. So it's going to be a practice session which is about to come to an end, followed by 20 minutes of qualifying, followed by two 20-minute races back to back, and the results of race number 1 dictate the starting positions of race number 2. Now it's worth mentioning that actually last round we'd used for the first time the restart feature for a race, and that was because of a 5-car incident in the first lap. So we went ahead and restarted that race. Worked pretty well, but interestingly it doesn't actually perfectly align the cars on the starting grid. I don't know if it was just a bug for that particular circuit or in general. But hopefully we don't need to use it here today. Currently observing Akashik here, part of the mighty team that is, if I bring up the name, I think it's Syndicate Ryan, yes it is. So, talking about teams, Wild Hogs Racing, which involves Andrew and I believe Binding. Just double check that, yeah, so Binding and Andrew, that's currently leading with 151. Points, and then in the second place with 124 points, not actually that far behind, is Syndicate Ryan. So definitely in with a shot there for the team championship. Deutsche Tourenwagen Neuwirtschaft is in third place. That's 57 points, and I think that is driven by Ash solo. And then Team RAC, which is now comprised of Kulik, who isn't here today, and did have Adam Keefe, who's had to drop out of the championship. So actually now just a team of 1, 38 points. Bottling Motorsport, 16 points, and that involves... who's that going to be? Love these team names. Forrest McCormack. So they are in 5th place with 16 points. Then Global Enduro, 7 points, is next up. And that is comprising of Taylor and Neo. And then last but not least, we've got Love Live Racing Idol Project, which is Zaddy. Again, just a solo team. Got a few other teams and they've got Split Screen Racing, Team No Friends, Mark My Words, and Mild Disappointment, of which nil point has been achieved so far. Ah, that sucks, Neo. It's always the last corner that gets you, isn't it? Looks like the weather has got a little bit overcast, which made things a little bit darker, but we are at the end of the practice session, so we'll be kicking things off with qualifying very shortly indeed. So with that in mind, let's use a little bit of an opportunity to win or lose some channel points. And I think what we're going to do is... Okay, here's what we're going to do. So I've started a new prediction there for you guys. We're going to say who's going to be the fastest in qualifying between Akashik and Red. Currently Akashik finished with a 147.079 in practice session. Red with a 147.832. Just remember that the difference in ballast between these two drivers is quite a good amount. There's 20 kilos, 19 kilos for Akashik, 51 for Red. But Red has been known to get some very impressive times out of the little BMW. So let's go ahead and see if we can find Red. Here he is. And let's see what Red has got in store for us. Tyre compound wise, let's just take a look at what everyone's chosen. Interestingly, Michael is driving on the medium compound. Zaddy is on medium compound. I thought someone had taken the hard compound there for a second, but that is just a TV van. But that means that Akashik and Red are both on soft compound for qualifying. Not that Red has actually chosen to leave the pits yet. This may have an impact on his ability to set a time that's faster than Akashik's. No one's been brave enough to pick yet. And here comes Red, dipping out of the pits for the first time. And already on the grass. So 18.5 minutes of qualifying time remaining. Track temperature at the moment is 31 degrees, which is pretty standard for the championship thus far. And it's 100% optimal track conditions at the moment. It's rubbered in since the beginning of the practice session. And a bit of wind today, 14 kilometers an hour, but nothing too significant there. So the sun comes back out and brightens things up a little bit. Looks a little bit gloomy out there. So Hemi in with the time, 1:56.818. Currently the leader, but we know that's just an out lap time. Be waiting to see the 147s come in to tell us who's going to be where. Red locking up the rear a little bit on his BMW as he goes into the corner there. It's been interesting in this championship because the all-wheel drive cars like the Alfa and the Audi are so dominant off the start line, but the likes of the BMW, especially when in good hands like Red here, is very quick when things get underway. So off the line, not the best. It will probably lose 3 to 5 positions to the all-wheel drive cars at the very beginning of the race, but as we've seen time and time again, once the race is actually underway, the BMW is able to carry that speed through the corners more effectively, and that's made it quite a strong contender, especially with Red driving it, and he is currently number 2 in the championship, so got a bit of a proof in the pudding there of how good this car can be. Consequently, Red though is carrying a lot more ballast than his teammate Akashik, and it'll be interesting to see whether Akashik can best Red in qualifying and the race. Yeah, pretty good circuit today. It's nice and wide, gives more opportunities for battling and overtaking. But it's quite a different track to what we've driven so far. The first 2 rounds of this championship were very kind of street orientated, very narrow. This has actually got runoffs, and looks like you can use the curbs pretty well. Binding in first place there with a 1:47.228. Roll Postma in P2 with a 1:47.536, and then we've got Giametta, who is one of the newbies for this round, with 3rd place currently. Andrew in 4th, our championship leader so far, and at the moment Akashik is yet to put in his new time. We'll just pop back to him. He's currently on the way to the start-finish line, I believe. Into the grandstands, Akashik goes. There we go, Red with a 1:47.817, so Akashik got a bit of work to do here to catch up now. He's on a 1:59.956, that I believe is the outlap time though. Potentially using the curb as much as he dares there into the final corner by the looks of it. And Akashik on the way to the line, 1:59.956 I believe is still the time. Last lap was a 3:19, so maybe that was an outlap. This will be a flying lap though, so let's stay with Akshik as he sets a time. But Red's doing very well to get already up to P5. Making some good time, a headway so far. 10.7 seconds up on their time. So just 13.2 minutes left on the qualifying session. We've got a few more drivers on the circuit now. We're up to 19, if not 20. So fairly good turnout for this round. There's 29 spots in the championship overall. So we've been averaging around 20 a race, I believe, which is good in one regard, but also a little bit disappointing that we aren't getting full attendance. But hopefully we've got a good set of drivers here today to give us a bit of a show. Here's Akshik heading up to the line, and he grabs a 147.156, so he's now ahead of his teammate. So for those of you betting on Akshik, you are in luck. Akshik's gone back to the pits. Let's check out Binding. So Binding in the Alpha, teammate to Andrew. At the moment it's 146s and 147s down to P8. And there's a few drivers yet to put their times in. Marju, no doubt, will be setting a pretty impressive time, as will... I was going to say Binding, but he's just spun around. But 12 minutes to go, so plenty of time for a few things to happen. Let's take a look at Red. He's 6 seconds up on his time actually, so that seems awfully impressive. If he carries this over the line, that's going to be a record-breaking time. Let's see what he can do with this. I'm expecting this to be as a result of some kind of cut potentially, so maybe I mean, if he carries this over the line, that's going to be very quick indeed. But he's slowing down, so yeah, I think that's going to be a cut. In the background you can see Zaddy coming up in the pink and white livery. Currently about to take a little bit of time off as well. 2:08 again, so a little bit ambitious there. That would put them into negative time. 1:48 for Zaddy. Let's go on board with Zaddy in the Mercedes. Interesting, the Mercedes haven't been a really super competitive car this season, which is a shame because they're my favourite. But they've certainly been struggling against the Alphas. And there's Andrew in first place with a 146.144. So our championship contender is still dominant despite the 80 kilos of ballast that they're carrying. That is that's a fair amount. And Forrest McCormack in P4, as noted by Neo there, with a 146.471, so very impressive. Got 4 cars in the 146s now. Andrew almost sub 146, which will be very impressive. Kind of amazing that Andrew can do this with so much ballast being lugged around. And that looks like Red and Zaddy are back in the pits. Let's take a look at Forrest McCormack here, who is in the black and white, or black and yellow, sorry, BMW. Again, the track delta is all over the place. So, Forrest McCormack still pushing hard for additional time. I'm not sure why the track delta is so confused with the times, but let's see what happens after Forrest comes round and finishes the lap. Yeah, it literally has no idea what's going on with the deltas. Plus 121. That's quite a significant delta. Let's take a look at Taylor, another one of our Mercedes heroes. He's currently running 16th because he's not managed to set a time yet. But let's see what Taylor's got in store for us. In the background you can see it's probably going to be Michael in the Audi, which we might get a glimpse of in a second. There it is. Yeah, that's the Audi. The Michael is P3, I believe, in the standings. Bring this back up. Yes, he is. 94 points to his name. Ah, no, Taylor's off in the last corner for some reason. Michael should grab a time now. And he did not, so invalid lap time for Michael still. Let's see what he can do with his magical invisible steering wheel. Not many takers for the Audi in this championship because it's a little bit of a scuffed mod. It has no ability to change the setup. Most of the cameras don't work, as I will demonstrate now. This is the inside of the car. And yeah, I think Forrest McCormack attempted to take this car, then rage quit immediately after actually driving it. So yeah, not many takers, but somehow Michael is managing to make this car work. So hat comes off to Michael for being brave enough, but also skilled enough to get something out of this Audi. Currently 147s all the way down to P11, but Akashik is currently beating his teammate by a good few tenths, about 7 tenths there in that. See what Red can do to change that. But of course the ballast is very much in Akashik's favour between those two. Go back on board with Michael as he tries to find some time in the Audi. Came up to the last couple of corners. Of course, with it being all-wheel drive, you can get that power down nice and early. And there we go, P6. Michael with a 146 joins the 146 club. We've actually got some 145s, so we've now got Giamatti with the 145.5. And then it's 146s down to P6 and 147s down to P12. So I think we're going to have ourselves one hell of a race today. It's even 148s to P15, so very nice to see such a tight grouping. And 19 cars out there. So Ash, currently running P5, 146.632, cooking his tyres as always in the Alpha here. Driving his very special livery, the gold and white Marlborough edition. Ooh, car lover. Someone for you to ban. Unless I get there first. And they're gone. Ooh, Ash has cooked it and spun the car around into the gravel pit. Ooh, Akshik's joined the 146 club as well, but is now spinning the car wildly off the circuit. Red is down in P13 with a 147. So let's see what Red can do about this situation. Apparently spin. Wow, this is going to be an interesting one. Everyone's pushing really, really hard and it's resulting in a few spins. Only got 2 minutes left to go. If anyone was voting for Akshik, you have chosen very wisely. He is now mere moments away from being on the top 3 of this qualifying session. I think he's staying in the pits though. That means we've actually got what's that going to be? A BMW, an Alpha, a BMW, and a Mercedes in the top 5. So very different to the Alpha dominated lineups that we've seen before. Again, we've got 148s all the way down to P17. So there's only really 2 seconds in it between P2 and P17, or thereabouts. 2.5 seconds. Well, the sun's come out a little bit, it's got a bit brighter. Track temperature's still 31 degrees though. So very excited for this first race now. We've got 30 seconds left to go. And Neo very, very close to his own best time though actually, so getting some good consistency from Neo now, which is nice to see. And there we go, qualifying has concluded. We'll have just a short interval before the beginning of race number 1. Look at that, very tight grouping out there today. One driver into the 145s, that's Giamatti in first place. Andrew, our championship leader so far with a P2 finish there, 146, 144. And then you have 146s all the way down to P8, with 147s continuing down to P14. So some really tight and competitive times out there. Going to make some really good racing here, hopefully, for the first of the rounds. Hey, Luca. Ah, okay, so Carmian drives for Motori Nella Legenda. Nice. That would explain the time. They have started with just 24 kilos of ballast, but then, just for context, that is the same amount that Akashik is driving on. But obviously a lot less than Andrew. And Andrew's only 6/10 behind, despite having 60 kilos more ballast. The Luca here in the BMW, also in chat. Running a pretty similar time to Retrolux, who's also streaming on YouTube at the moment. That's Retrolux there. Very nice livery indeed. Now we just have to wait for the beginning of the race, and this should be one hell of a race based on those times. Be interesting to see how race number 2 pans out as well. I expect there'll be a few drivers who overcook lap number 1 and spin out, but hopefully they do so without causing any major incident with the other drivers. Also, one thing that's going to be interesting to see with Carmine is they're going to suffer on the start line with Andrew and Ash and Binding and Michael all there in their all-wheel drive cars. So could be an interesting run down to T1. Hopefully we get a clean run without too much issue. Okay. We have about a minute to go before we get underway with the racing here. Should be some really good action here today in round number 5. So Carmine's selected the Tic Tac livery for the BMW. And they're joined by a few other Beamers. You've got Forrest McCormack here in the black and yellow. We've got Akashik in the green. Oh, actually, let's just quickly finish that prediction as well. So, choose the outcome. We've gone for... Will Red beat Akashik in the qualifying? No, he did not. So, congratulations to... Or commiserations if you've lost any points there. Okay, get my finger ready on the restart button just in case it's required. But the lights are up, engines are revving, and away we go. Here come the Alphas all splitting out to get some clean air, and it's a very, very clear start for Andrew there as he dives into the front there. Carmine in P2, followed by Forrest McCormack, and Ash off into the sandpit already with a contact with Forrest McCormack by the looks of it. That's bad news for Forrest McCormack as he gets collected early on in the race. I think he is the only one to have been caught out there. unless I have been mistaken. Yeah, Ash down to P16, bad news for him. Here comes Carmine, battling already with Andrew on the inside as Carmine takes the opportunity there. Oh, we've had a multi-car pile-up. And I'm actually going to go ahead and let that one slide because that didn't seem to disrupt everyone. Most people seem to get through clean. So Andrew back in the first spot with Carmine hot on his heels already. And looks like we're going to have one hell of a battle at the front here. In the background, a few more cars coming through. There's Forrest McCormack back up to 8th place already. So carrying on, Ash is in P14 and under close contention with... Ooh, Red just launching off a curb there. And Ash comes through on the inside of Alien up to P13 as Red takes P12. Lots of action happening on track here. Back in the front though, got Andrew under pressure from the BMW of Carmine Giametta. And let's go on board with Carmine to see how things look from their point of view as they try their very best to keep up with the Alpha. Of course, 60 kilos of ballast difference between these cars. The BMW running light on 24 kilos. Andrew carrying a metric ton of weight, which will impact their ability to slow down, but seemingly Andrew managing to keep the door shut there as Carmine struggles to find time. In the background, Michael in P3 starting to make some ground, and Binding in running in P4. Akshik's down to P8 though, despite qualifying 4th. Some true DTM moments here as they start to bounce off the curbs. And Giametta keeps the pressure on. Down in P12 we've got Luca, one of our new joiners, going toe to toe with Ash currently. A little bit of door scraping there. In the background, Alien looking for an opportunity in the Alpha as well. And Alien cuts to the left hand side, looks for a potential move here. But it's Martella who maintains position in P13. Dropping a little bit away from Ash at the moment. A little bit of a contact there between Ash and Martella, but nothing too significant. And the train of DTM cars here wangles their way through the final chicane and into the final corner. And off they go to complete their lap. At the back you can see Retrolux in the Mercedes. You've also got Posma, Hemi, Taylor, Alien and Martella here. Ooh, and that's Alien off into the sand. Back in the front we've got Carmine giving a very, very good run of speed down to the hairpin. But once again Andrew doing a great job of defending. Favourite car is definitively the 190 E-Vials, and glad to hear you've been on the steam train, that sounds like fun. But livery wise, ooh, bit of contact with Andrew getting collected a little bit there, but carries on. I'm actually going to go ahead and say that my favourite livery is Retrolux in the 190E. He's put a lot of effort into this and it came out really, really nice. Unfortunately, he's down to P19. Sketty, P6, battling with Forrest McCormack. And looks like Neo just ahead of them. Sketty gets... well, I don't think it got collected there, but he just span. And that allows Forrest McCormack to cut through to P6 as he comes under the bridge up to the chicane. That means that Red is now battling with Sketty. as they come up to the chicane. That's not really a place you want to go too wide. And Red has managed to wangle his way through, but can he keep the car under control as they come over the start-finish line? Into P9, Red goes. He's now not actually that far behind Akshik, so it'll be interesting to see whether he can catch up. Meanwhile, back in the front, our battle for the lead continues with Andrew really having his work cut out here today. 0.1 of a second ahead of Giametta, and we're going to see as they come up to the hairpin again, the brakes, it's just so much later for the BMW. But once again, the Alpha just has the inside line there and keeps the control. But this time the BMW is a little bit further ahead. Carmine looking for a little bit of dominance here on track, but let's see what they've got in store for us. Going side by side again, a little bit of a tap and a nudge between the two of them there as they come through. Carmine getting caught up on the curbs, and actually this time a bit of contact with the Alpha driven by Andrew, but somehow manages to keep the car pointing in roughly the right direction. And Carmine is still in this race. Michael, on the other hand, though, starting to get a bit closer behind in the Audi. And Carmine's going to have to be careful not to get caught up battling with the Audi. That will make things very easy for Andrew to break away. Binding as well in P4, not too far behind. Let's see what Carmine's got in store for us. Looking back down to P13, where we've got Luca Martella and Hemi in 2 BMWs. And knowing my luck, they'll probably both be the number 7. Well, actually, no, we might be in luck. But they were getting a bit closer. Ash is now actually getting a little bit under pressure from the likes of Akshik. Akshik, who qualified P4 and is now somehow on P12. His race not coming together as he expected, I'm sure. Ooh, okay, so Forrest McCormack being overtaken by Red. And Red now starting to hunt down the next victim, which will be Marju. But let's go back to the front of the race, where, ooh, again, tap from Carmine, and now Andrew's in the middle of the track, and so's Carmine. They've both dropped positions there, P4 and P5 respectively. That might result in some penalty tickets being awarded, I'm sure. But Andrew, our race leader for a long part of this race, is now down to P4 with some work to do to catch up. Carmine further behind, but now under pressure from Marju and Red. So Carmine very quick, but getting caught up with a little bit of toe-to-toe action with Andrew in this race. There's been a couple of bangs and scrapes. Hopefully that isn't a theme. Go on board with Marju, and let's see what things look like from the Alpha's point of view as he tries to keep up with the mighty BMW up ahead. Through the final corner. Marju's not a slow driver, so he will be able to put some pressure on Carmine, I'm sure. In the background you can see Forrest McCormack, Scatty as well. And Zaddy in P10. It's actually Red here in P7 who's most likely to be putting some pressure on to Marju next. And that's going to make things very difficult for Marju. He's stuck between 2 BMWs, and if Red keeps pushing as Red does, then there might be an opportunity here for Red to overtake, and Marju's going to have to watch the front and the back. Ooh, in the background Marju gets onto the grass a little bit there, loses a little bit of time as a result of that. It actually makes things a little bit easier for Forrest McCormack to gain some ground. Red comes through the sweeping right-left. There's Erdy under blue flags. Red gliding the rear end of the car along. Let's take a look at the front though. We've got Michael, who is leading the race now with Binding close behind. There's only 9 minutes 33 seconds left on the clock. And we've got Neo in the Mercedes in P3. This is an absolute turn up for the books. We've got another potential win for a Mercedes after Viles at Mugello. Michael taking the slightly off-road approach to the chicane. Meanwhile, Neo pushing hard. There's the opportunity for Neo as he attempts to get past Binding. Binding somehow trying to close the door in a straight line, which doesn't end well. And there's Andrew back in the mix now. Let's hope they don't take Neo to Brazil. Oh, in the background, Carmine almost collected Andrew on the way out towards the sandpit. And Carmine's down to P9 as a result of that. They're back on the track. But it's Binding and Neo side by side on the run down to the hairpin. Binding's on the inside. Neo's going to try and go around the outside. Will there be a switcheroony as Neo cuts back on the inside? No, there will not. Andrew's in a pretty good position though to work his way back to the front of this race because he's got 8 minutes left to go. And he's already back up to P4 and they're very close indeed. Probably about 3 seconds behind the race leader, so well within the capabilities of Andrew to claw this one back to another win. The brake disc glowing on the Alpha for Binding as he gets a bit of smoke coming off the tyres. And Neo pushing hard still, but Andrew's all over him. And on board from Andrew's point of view shows that Neo is just a mobile roadblock at the moment. But long may Neo's reign last as he stays on the podium for a little bit longer. Andrew manages to work his way past Binding, as does Neo, with Binding making a mistake in the final corner. That puts Neo up to P2 in the race with 7 minutes left to go. And Andrew has now got to worry about his teammate in the other Alpha battling as well. Down in P8 we've got Carmine and Sketty now going toe to toe. Carmine on the hunt for positions again as they've lost a few this race due to contact. But they're in P9, so still in the points technically. But we're going to have to go back to the front of this race and just see how things look from Andrew's point of view. Andrew's got Binding, Red and Margie all within spitting distance. As they come through the hairpin, it's everything to play for these guys. Everyone from Margie onwards could, in theory, put themselves on the podium with 6 minutes left in this race. There's plenty of time for something to happen. And Red as well, very competent driver in this mix. He's going to be looking to make as much of an opportunity out of this as they possibly can do. Again, Andrew smoking the tyres a little bit. I wonder if they're going to be overdoing it there in their Alpha. Just checking quickly with regards to current tyres. So most people have gone on the medium compound, but the exception to that rule is Red, who's actually driving on soft. And they're probably feeling that a little bit with their tyres, but you can also see the Alphas pushing their tyres quite hard with that sliding, and that's going to be undoubtedly causing a little bit of extra tyre wear. Ooh, Andrew's up to P2, just managed to sneak it past Neo into the final corner. But meanwhile, Michael breaking away with a 3-second gap now, with 5 minutes left to go. Red side by side with Binding, but it's Binding who comes out on top. Here comes Red again on the run down to the hairpin, I think this is. Yep, coming up. Red's pushing hard. Gonna go around the outside. He is a little bit further ahead. And seems to be managing to make a good work out of this. And yes, he is. He's through. With Margie also coming up alongside Binding. which is going to make things a little bit more pressurised for Binding as the two Alphas go side by side through the corners now. That's a very likely situation for a bit of contact. We've seen that before in this race, but they're still side by side. Calipers and disc glowing brightly as they go hard on the brakes. And it's Marju and Binding still side by side. It's double Alpha. Bit of action here, but Binding slipped back into P6 and Marju is through to P5. Marju's not done yet though, but there's Binding almost over-rotating as they come round, and it's now Marju putting pressure on Red as he looks for a potential move, thinks about it, but decides wisely against doing that into the chicane. And Red is coming through the final corner now, holding on to P4 for dear life. In the background you can see Binding getting a little bit off track there. Horace McCormack up in P7 as well. It's Sketty and Ash who are also very close indeed. Carmine's up to P8 again, now putting pressure onto Forrest McCormack. Let's go on board with Carmine. Carmine's at risk in this race of receiving a few tickets based on contact that I've seen so far. That will of course be down to the discretion of the drivers to report it though. Sun breaking out from behind the clouds. And again, Carmine very, very aggressive on the brakes in the way down to the hairpin. Looking for a cutback, but denied by Forrest McCormack. Meanwhile, Ash and Sketty continue to battle in the Alphas. At the moment, it's Carmine and Forrest McCormack, with Forrest McCormack making a little bit of a mistake there. That allows Carmine to get alongside. And now it's Forrest McCormack back into P8 as Carmine captures P7 and allows them to start honing in on Marju. Here we are with Forrest McCormack though. He's still not giving up yet. Carmine isn't out of the woods just yet. There's always a nice camera in the BMW there. So Marju, 0.5 of a second behind Binding. Binding into the last corner. He's made a mistake here before. Will you see another repeat? Yes, a little bit. Slidey through there, but Marju gains a little bit of time out of that, but not a significant amount. Meanwhile, Michael in P1 has now got the likes of Andrew bearing down, and Neo's only 0.4 of a second behind, so it's a bit of a three-way run for the win here, as we've got an Audi, an Alfa, and a Mercedes, with actually a BMW driven by Red very, very close behind indeed. Let's go to Neo for this one. Right on the dash here as we head down to the hairpin. Michael defending against Andrew's advances here. Neo right in the mix here as well. I did say this was going to be a good race, and this has proven to be a very good race indeed. 1 minute left to go, and we've got a four-way battle for the lead here, as Red is now within striking distance, and we have very little time left, but a lot of action unfolding at the front. In the background you can see Forrest McCormack actually down in P11, so they've obviously had an accident. Didn't quite catch that one on stream, unfortunately. But here we go. Michael still leading this race. 0.5 of a second ahead. 29 seconds left on the clock. Will this be the final lap, or will there be a little bit more time? They actually do have a couple more corners to go, so it's hard to call it just yet, but with 14 seconds and they're just coming through the final corner, there actually going to be another lap. I think there is. And 5, 4, 3. Yep, they are going once more, and Michael is overcooked. I think he thought the race is done. Oh, and he's throwing it all away. 4th place for Michael. That puts Andrew back in the lead, but he's got Neo to deal with. And Neo is 0.2 of a second behind and not giving up anytime soon. Let's go back to the inside view for Neo, as he put some pressure on Andrew on the run down to the hairpin. Here they go side by side. Andrew's got the inside line. He's got the defensive position here. Neo goes through the hairpin, but is not through yet behind Andrew, and Andrew's still sitting pretty in P1. Red, though, bearing down now, 0.3 of a second behind Neo. Oh, it's such a shame for Michael. I think he thought the race was done, and he just threw it into T1 like it was all over. Amazing to think that Red is driving on soft compound tyres and still managing to hold his own here with the leaders of the pack. But annoyingly, Neo is falling behind. He's 0.6 of a second behind now, and I don't think we're going to see him challenging Andrew. But I might be eating my words momentarily. Let's see what he's got in store for us. Might have missed a gear a little bit there. Red is 0.6 of a second behind as well, so it looks like Neo's in pretty good stead here for a very strong P2 finish. And round the final quarter they go. Andrew takes P1, Neo P2, Red grabs a very, very respectable P3 despite starting further down the grid. Michael P5, Binding, I missed it there a little bit, P4 for Binding. Margie grabs P6, Ashavi is P7, Sketty takes P8, Zaddy in P9, Forrest McCormack grabs points with a P10 finish despite being collected early on in the race, and Akashik takes P11 despite qualifying 4th. But good news for Red there. The team Rhine will still get some points. Giametta finishes P12 after a few incidents in that race. Alien just outside of the points there with the P13. Luca Martella grabs P14. And Retrolux has P15 in the bag. Taylor grabs P16. Hemi is going to be on track for a P17 by the looks of it. Erdi takes P18 and Postma has disconnected. So exciting finish there. Andrew didn't have the easy run to the checkered flag that they have experienced before. It was very much under contention and a few close calls there which might have resulted in disaster. So Andrew's done well to not only finish well but to finish first. Well done, Neo. P2. Congratulations. And you get your interview for the first time in the season. So don't forget to drop into the interview box later on. Well, you know, if you're going to get points for the first time, Neo, you might as well get big points, right? But yeah, great to see Red finishing on the podium once again. I was a bit worried with the qualifying performance there that they were going to be struggling this race, but in true Red fashion, they finish very strongly, despite everything being thrown at them. So we have a few moments to go until race number 2. I'm going to use that to shamelessly plug an advert, so I'll see you guys in a minute's time. Well done, Red. You guys up for another prediction for race number 2? If so, let me know what you want me to put into the prediction. The challenge is I can only add 10 options, so if it comes down to like who's going to win the race, it's quite difficult to determine that because anyone could win the race. And there's a few more than I can pick. But if you want me to do something like, is Andrew going to finish in the top 3? Is Red going to beat Akashik? Just let me know and I can set one up. So as you know, race number 2 is based on the finishing positions from race number 1, and that puts Andrew on the top spot of the podium, Neo in P2, so great start for Neo. Red this time starting in P3. That's a good shout, Car. Let's quickly do that then. And I've got mere seconds to do this. All lights are up, engines are revving. And away they go. Right, prediction is set. So let's go and use this camera this time so I can actually keep an eye on what's happening here, and I'll get myself ready for... Ooh! Michael! No, it's Binding. Binding's died already. And looks like Neo's going for the most insane read. Okay, that is just a disaster. But I think it only involved a couple of cars there, so Binding and Neo, the only two I think which got impacted by that. So Neo's hopes of a rerun are dashed already. Car getting turned around in the hairpin, that's Hemi. Again, these are all kind of isolated incidents that involve a couple of cars. It's not really restart worthy, unlike last round, where it was really clear cut. Quite hard to decide these things as well in the middle of a race. But I think we're okay. Neo is obviously at the back of the grid, so probably nil points for Neo on this race, but we'll see what he can do to surprise us. Hopefully he's got no damage on the results of that. Michael and Sketty are continuing to fight in P3 and 4 respectively. Marju doing very well in this restart with in race number 2, sorry, with P2. And Andrew's breaking away from the crowd already with a 3.1 second gap. Meanwhile, we have one hell of a train of DTM cars. And lap 1 concludes with a little train of cars coming through. And thus far, we've had, I think, Neo and Binding got caught up in the first lap there. That wouldn't surprise me. Akshik and Zadi going side by side, with Akshik just slipping through there to P11. He'll be on the road to redemption, hopefully. Meanwhile, Red goes through the hairpin in what looks like a bit of a scrum. He's up to P3, or still in P3. But in the background, you've got Ash, Forrest McCormack, Michael losing out there. He's spun. Gets the car turned around again. goes for the rejoin. Meanwhile, Marju's leading Forrest McCormack and Carmine and Sketty in a bit of a train here as well. Neo back up to P15. There is time for Neo. He's got 16.5 minutes to go in this race. You certainly can, car lover. I'll check it out after the race. So, Marju's still leading the pack here with P4, Forrest McCormack, Carmine Giametta close behind. And you've got Ash, Red and Andrew in Ps 1 through 3 with Andrew opening a pretty substantial lead already, 4.3 seconds. He might be on track for a really dominant win here in race number 2 because his main competition is further down the grid. That was Carmine Giametta, which is who we saw the battle with unfolding in the last race. Akshik and Binding once again fighting away. Hey Luca. Yeah, Carmine's pushing pretty hard. At the moment we're looking at Binding and Zadie with Akshik in hot pursuit. Let's see what Akshik's got in store for us. Binding smoking the tyres a little bit. There's Zadie in the pink and white livery. You actually hear another engine in there, and that is Taylor in the 190E. Looks like Michael's disconnected from the race, unfortunately, after the incident. Forrest McCormack in P4, though, looking really strong for this second race, despite his getting collected in the first race. He's come back pretty strong for race number 2. Got Marju and Carmine on his tail, though, so could be some pressure coming from those guys. And Forrest making a slight mistake there, leading to a runoff there with Marju now pushing on the inside. Forrest now it's a bit flustered as well, seems to have driven off into the sand following Ash, but comes back strong with an advantage and takes the opportunity to overtake Ash as well. But Carmine and Marju are now through. On board with Carmine here. And that's Marju in the Alpha up ahead. Took a look down the inside, but a bit too far back, I would say. And into the final corner they go. Rear end of the Alpha getting really, really dirty, all that exhaust flying out all over it. Meanwhile, we've got Luca and Binding battling for P9, but with Akashik in the mix as well, and Luca's gone off to Brazil. Oh, looks as well, Alien in front, losing out a little bit there as well, having followed a mistake. That puts Binding and Akashik up to P8, battling together, but also grabbing some positions at the same time. Binding's thinking about it, but he decides against it. Carmine and Marju now, side by side. Marju manages to retain P3 though for the time being. And Carmine's working the BMW through these corners very nicely indeed. Interestingly, Red is closing this gap to Andrew, 2.7 seconds. It was 4 seconds a while ago. Carmine hasn't found the way through yet, but is working very aggressively to try and tame Marju. And as they come through, Marju's definitely got something to worry about here. That might have been a little bit of a nudge between the two of them. Yeah, it's slight contact, minor. Actually, no, Marju, it kind of reports both incidents from both perspectives. And Marju reported a 15km/h incident there, so actually it's a bit of a nudge. And there's Forrest McCormack giving a bit of a nudge in response as well. So Carmine getting caught out a little bit there by Forrest McCormack in the final corner. Now Ash takes the opportunity to overtake Carmine as well. Carmine's on the inside now. Forrest closing the door a little bit. A little bit of rubbing going on, but that is DTM for you. Now Carmine's 0.4 of a second behind Forrest McCormack. Out for an opportunity to reclaim their position. Forrest McCormack again 1.1 seconds behind Marju, but it's Quentin Red in P2 who is 1.9 seconds behind Andrew, so closing in. Akshik also in the points with P9 going again toe to toe with his arch nemesis in this race, Binding. Thanks for the clip there. Akshik off the track, but manages to come back. Gives the position back to Binding though. Forrest McCormack, P4, still under pressure from the other BMW driven by Carmine. And meanwhile, Ash in the background, not prepared to give up just yet. That's half race distance with 9:26 left on the clock. Forrest is on the curbs a bit, lost out a little bit of power there because he couldn't quite get full throttle. That's going to allow Carmine to get alongside, but as they run down to the next corner, into the final corner, will there be an opportunity for Carmine to come back through here? Here's the rear wing view for Forrest McCormack as I go through T1. And Carmine is carrying a lot of speed through here. Doing well to avoid contact there. Ash coming in hot as well. Let's see what Carmine's got. 0.2 of a second between these two at the moment. Coming up to the hairpin now. Forrest taking the inside line to defend. Carmine's again aggressive on the brakes. A little bit of a bump between the two of them. And well caught slide from Carmine. There was a bit of a contact between the two of them again coming into the hairpin. But Carmine's survived, but now under pressure from Ash, who is ready to pounce. Tell you what, I wouldn't want to be paying the repair bill for these cars after a race like this. There's enough shunting and bumping here to damage every panel on the car. On the other hand though, that is very DTM. Still sticking with Carmine here as they hunt down Forrest McCormack. These two are running on pretty similar ballast, I believe. And seem pretty evenly matched in skill at the moment. Once again through the final chicane into the final corner. Let's see what they've got in store for us on the next lap. 7 minutes left on the clock. Neo's done well to get back to P11. Zaddy and Michael having disconnected. Look at this, Red is now bearing down on the race leader. As they come into the hairpin, it's Andrew and Red going side by side. Andrew closing the door a little bit there, but Andrew is very much under threat now. He's lost a 4-second advantage lead over Red, and Red is coming in hot and fast, ready to capture this first spot of the race. Looking over the rear wing of Andrew's Alpha here, you can see Red is very close indeed. Oh, Carmine's being caught out, I think. They're in the sandpit again. They've definitely been catching a few incidences in these races. And they've lost out a lot of positions there. And to P13. Let's go back to Marju and Ash, who are 0.3 of a second apart. These two Alphas are battling well. Yep, Luca, that wasn't a good outcome for Carmine. Carmine's certainly fast, but have unfortunately found themselves getting a little bit caught up in the action. And there's Marju and Ash coming over the start-finish line. Let's go back to Andrew, though, who has got a very frisky BMW sniffing around, and you can see the straight line speed of the BMW. It's enough to make you worry, and going into the onboard view with Andrew, you can see he's actually further behind now. He's got the BMW fully ahead, and ooh, he manages to somehow say that. I think Red was just a little bit late on the brakes there and overcooking it in the hairpin. Ah, Zaddy, sorry to hear that. Hopefully your wheel's okay. Let's see what Carmine can do in the next 4 minutes and 30 seconds to gain some positions and potentially get back in the points. Let's see what Red has got for us. That's Quentin. I can't actually pronounce Red's last name. It's a mystery to me. But he's 0.2 of a second behind Andrew, and you can see he is giving it all the beans here as they come round. And now Red's on the inside, looking for a sniff down that way. Not quite alongside yet, though. Gonna have to wait a little bit longer. There they are through the chicanes, and it's Red ready to pounce now. A little bit of a bump in the final corner there. 7 kilometers an hour. Chavitao. Oh dear, I'm sure he'll cringe at that. Once again, Red giving it everything he's got down to the hairpin here. He's technically ahead, but once again, Andrew parking it on the inside, and that works wonders for Andrew's defence. Let's just rename Red to something that's really easy to say, like, I don't know, Barry. Let's just call him Barry. Or even just Red, that works too. Oh, I really hope, not that I'm taking anything away from Andrew here, who is fully allowed to win this race, but I'm really hoping Red wins this race. He's working so hard here, and it'd be great to see the BMW pick up that top spot. Andrew on 2 wheels momentarily there. But at the moment, Andrew is doing a great job of holding off Red's BMW. It's just difficult for Red to find the right moment to strike here, and I think Andrew is just doing such a good job of defending here. Ash and Sketty trading positions as Ash takes P5. Sketty off track slightly there in the final chicanes. But that puts Ash up to P5. Good news for him. And then also Luca on 2 wheels. That's such a DTM moment. Carmine as well, coming through the final corner. And that might be an opportunity for Carmine to get back to P11. Meanwhile, let's see what Red's got for us. He's a little bit further behind than he has been in these positions, but he's trying to go round the outside once again. Let's see if he cuts back a little bit more aggressively this time. No, Andrew has once again held Red at bay. Oh, let's go and have a look at Carmine. He's going side by side with Luca Martella as they head down to the hairpin. But Luca manages to come out pretty well, but Carmine is actually the winner there. Takes P11 and now has 47 seconds to try and grab a little bit more time away from Alien, and Carmine will get themselves back into the points. Meanwhile, we've got 34 seconds left on the clock, and Red is giving it everything he's got here to try and take out. Well, I say take out. Take the position from Andrew. Let's hope he doesn't take Andrew out. But they've got 20 seconds on the clock. That's going to be another lap. So, last chance saloon for Red now. Let's see. Let's do the entire last lap from the onboard with Red and just enjoy the battle from the front row seat that Red is getting right now. Takes a sniff down the inside, but has to back out, and under the Opal sign they go. Let's see what Red has got in store. He's got a bit of slipstream advantage coming, but he's not going to be in as strong a position as he was before. Again, once again, tries the outside manoeuvre into the hairpin, but this hasn't worked out for him any time before. And almost getting there this time, but not quite. Andrew parks it once again, closes the door, and that leaves Red with very little options now as they go through the remainder of the track. And Red somehow keeping this car going in the right direction despite having soft compound tyres and being at the end of the race. He's sliding the rear end, keeps the car under control, but he's actually just let Andrew get away a little bit too much there, and I think that might be sealing the deal for Andrew, who, despite having so much ballast it's not even normal, he's still dominant here in the Alpha. Puff of smoke from Andrew's rear right there as they come through the right-hander, and they're on the run down to next corner. Unfortunately, Red now a second behind and just focusing on finishing this race with points in P2. And around they go. Checkered flag for Andrew and Red, and a P3 finish coming to Forrest McCormack. Well done to Forrest. Marju picks up P4 with a close behind Ash and Sketty. And then Neo gets points as well with a P7. So despite going right to the back of the grid at the beginning of this race in lap 1, Neo's finished in P7. So we found a track which Neo's godlike at. Akshik picks up P8, so good to see points for both Syndicate Ryan drivers. Binding takes P9 and Alien P10, so points for Alien. Carmine just missing out on points there with a P11 finish. Luca Martella in P12 and Retrolux in P13. Taylor grabs P14, and it looks like Erdi is going to be picking up P15 with Hemi close behind. Yeah, nice to see some BMWs up on the podium. I think the ballast is finally taming the Alpha. Andrew is still winning, but he is only just winning, which is the whole idea of the ballast. And there we have it. Hemi picks up the last position. The race is finished, and let's go ahead and grab some interview time. So we just need some of our drivers to jump up to meet us in the interview room. Otherwise, I shall start to have to drag people up here, kicking and screaming. Okay, I'm just going to start dragging them because it's time for interviews. Let me go ahead and grab Andrew. I'm going to grab Red. Of course, we're going to need Boris McCormack, who's just disconnected. Who else we're going to need? We're going to need Neo, of course. And we also need... Oh, that's everyone. So I think we've got everyone who's available. Let's invite everyone to speak.
Oh, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Wait for Neo to come up as well. Neo, just accept the invite to speak.
He's nervous. He's never been here before.
It's true. He's never got points in this league, and now he's here. Let's also grab Forrest. I thought he'd left, but he's of course named something very different in the survey. He's named Pickle.
You don't want to know
Hello.
why.
Hey. Okay, so let's go ahead and just crack on with the interview. Neo, when you're ready, don't be shy. You can come up and say hello. So race number 1, Andrew, Neo, and Red. Talk me through how that went. And we'll while you're here, Pickle. Sorry, for I'll just call you Pickle. While you're here, Forrest McCormack, we'll just touch on that disastrous start to that race. But Andrew, Red, how did race number 1 go for you guys?
Very eventful. I was having a proper ding-dong battle with the Italian geezer.
Italian geezer.
He
was giving you a run for your money at one point, wasn't he? But it was not without contact, so I think you both got quite lucky.
He was hard but fair. When he pushed me wide, he'd let me back through, so I don't mind. Bit of tough racing. That put us both back into the pack, and then it was just an absolute scramble to the end. And poor Michael choking on the final lap. It's truly tragic.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. It looked like he just thought the race had finished because you guys crossed the line with like 2 seconds to spare, and I thought, oh, I please hope he hasn't forgotten that the race is still going. But do you know what happened?
Right, so we're side by side going into T1. I've got the run. I've got the line. He just doesn't make the corner. His tyres must have been absolutely dead. He was trying to carry too much speed on the outside.
And his flight to Brazil was leaving.
Yes.
Oh, that's a shame, mate. Yeah, he was doing well, but Neo, I see you just popped in here. So you were in a run for the win there. Talk me through how the race went today, Neo. What's the difference between today and every other race that you've had in the championship so far? Stunned silence.
Crickets.
He's still recovering, honestly.
Okay, we'll come back to that, Neo. Don't worry. Just take your time. Forrest, lap 1 of race number 1 didn't go your way. Tell me what happened there. Did you get collected?
So I'm not really sure what happened. All I know is I was on the outside and I left what I felt was sufficient room, and I just got put around. Ash did say that Michael was on his inside, so it was a case of it's that classic thing of not knowing that there's the third car, which, it's unfortunate. It's like I don't think someone should be sending it up the inside, making it 3 wide in turn 1, but that's is what it is.
I was about to say, tell me you're going 3 wide without telling me you're going 3 wide.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit silly and like I don't know. It's annoying, but what can you do? So that kind of put paid to the race. I drove pretty poorly anyway because I still had chances. Still had the pace for the podium in race 1 if I didn't make so many mistakes. But I don't know.
Or maybe a little bit more time on the practice track leading up to the weekend will help iron out some of the kinks.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I don't really seem to gel with these cars. I don't know what it is.
Because you're driving it with a Formula 1
saying
wheel, aren't you?
No, I'm using a full circular
Okay.
wheel and H pattern for this.
Oh, you are using the H
Um,
pattern. Okay, that's interesting.
yeah, yeah, full heel and toe, everything.
Well, you're working a lot
Um,
harder than some people are. Then I'm sure Red's doing that too, though.
yeah, yeah. Oh, red definitely is, I'm sure.
Don't at me like that, man. What the hell?
Yeah, Andrew, fake champion, fake champion.
Well, Red,
I get sweaty enough as it is, man. I don't need to be doing that.
yeah, in your wingback chair.
No. It's gone. It's dead.
Well, you'll have to send an updated picture of the setup, Andrew.
It's very, very boring. Just a regular office chair now.
Okay. Well, let's talk about you, Red. So you gained 10 positions between qualifying and the end of the race. So you did very well to come back with such a strong 10 of events there. What was the issue in qualifying, and what went well in the race for you?
I just didn't have any pace, any confidence in the car during qualifying. Like my best lap was, I think I could have done something like a high 26, which would have still put me like barely into top 10. So qualifying was just disaster. I just made a last minute change setup without even trying it before the race to see if there could be any hope of a result. I even got a very poor start because I got collected in a lap 1 incident. So I got down to P16 or something like that. And then I just started to climb up, and somehow the car felt a bit better. And incident after incident in front of me, I just kept gaining places, and I found myself in P4, which was pretty incredible because the top 4 cars were top 4 were 4 different cars. So that's a very nice change from the alpha dominance.
All it took was 80 kilos.
Somehow Michael sent it into turn 1 and gave me the P3 because I had no more tires to really challenge Neo or Andrew.
Yeah, you're
I'm definitely happy with the.
You're a bit of an anomaly that you're driving on soft compound, Red. So, how much life do you have left in those tires at the end of the race?
I didn't check in race 2, but race 1, I think I had 30% left on the rears. And I'm honestly pretty sure the mediums are not very different in the laps at the end. So I just prefer the soft on how I drive, and I just try to keep them alive as long as possible.
And Pixel is the other kind of BMW in the room. What are you on medium compound, weren't you? How are your tyres faring by the end of the race?
They felt okay. Race 2 was definitely way better than race 1 because I spent a lot less time sideways, which, wouldn't you know, helps tire life. News to me. Yeah, they felt okay. Didn't feel too bad. Definitely, I think mediums were the tire to be on. So I don't know how Red dragged the soft so well, but yeah.
The gentleman touch. I think that's the secret.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, it's the mustache just breathes life into the tires. I reckon.
I just try to not drift as much as possible, and try not to lock the rears as well.
I wasn't doing that. Mate.
Okay, well let's just check. Neo, you alive over there? He's almost won his first race, and he's squandering his interview chance. Okay.
He's never going to get another chance, is he?
No, well,
no, just never drag him in again.
I'll fill in some of the blanks here. So Neo's race 2 went pretty poorly. Like started in what, P2 I think it was, and then ended up at the very end of the train, but then worked his way back up to finish in the points again. So back up to P7. So that's almost like a first to last to P7 again. So pretty impressive driving from Neo, and great to see a BMW doing a little bit like Viles did at Mugello. Bring home some good points. So well done, Neo, even if you are too shy to say anything in the interview. and I think obviously it's not showing me the championship points without ruining it a little bit with the drop round. But at the moment, based on on the information available to me, Andrew, you are still winning the championship, wouldn't you know? With a massive lead of, I think you're on 179 points here, including the drop rounds. And Red, you are on 118, so solid P2, but a little bit of work to do there. Michael's in P3 still, Marju P4, Sketty's in P5, and Ash in P6. And yeah, I don't even want to imagine how much ballast we're going to have to add to your car now, Andrew, but it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be triple figures. It's got to be.
Fake champion. Alpha is the new McLaren.
Truly
plus-
is the McLaren GT4.
Plus flappy paddles. Fake champion,
Yeah,
man. Fake
it's
champion.
true.
Red is the true
I
champion.
can't deny.
We'll have to airdrop you in a
Brilliant.
H pattern, Andrew.
Yeah, be my prize.
Yeah, there we go.
What,
can use
what
all-
prize,
all
fake
6
champion?
fingers to
Fake
use it.
champion?
I need 6 toes. I can't heel and toe. I can't twist my foot that way.
With that many toes, you'll be pushing all pedals at the same time, right?
I could make that work, you know. As long as I can reach it, you know, we can go with ball.
Does the webbing between the toes help?
No, I like to wrap my big toe around the throttle pedal.
Oh. Wow.
That's my...
So bad.
You disgust me on so many levels.
That is the secret, Red. That is the secret. Okay, guys. Well, thank you all for your interview as always. Neo, stellar commitment to the interview here.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Neil?
Just ease into it. But yeah, thanks, guys. Looking forward to seeing it the next round. Next round, of course, being, and he says that while just frantically trying to work out what the next round is going to be. It's going to be Wunstorf, which I have absolutely no idea what that track is, and I've never done it. And it looks like a bit like a Dorito.
Fliegerhorst Wunstorf.
There we go. So yeah, back to Germany by the sounds of it.
It's an airfield, and it has like 2 chicanes and 3 corners, and that's about it.
Oh, God.
It's absolutely fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it actually looks good.
Holy Akashik track pick, Batman.
That is that's authentic DTM flavour right there.
It is. I mean, today was a very DTM race. From the point of view, there was cars on 2 wheels. There was people flying off of curbs. There was a little bit of rubbing. There's someone flying off into a sand pit somewhere. And
You'll have to see it.
we'll have to see what happens next time.
One thing, can I get you to chastise Binding quickly?
Chastise Binding? Why would I do such a thing?
He's upset that he didn't win race 1, yet he voluntarily gave up 2 positions. You know, pick either or, man. You've got to commit to winning, or, you know, just be too nice and let everyone go past you, you know?
Maybe he...
Disgraceful.
Binding.
Well, you know, I mean, he likes to vary things, doesn't he? Like some races he's running out of fuel, some he's getting so angry he wants to be in the interview but can't physically attend mentally, and other times he's giving you the win, Andrew. So, you know, what can I say?
Yeah, he sounds like, oh, you wouldn't have won if I got on. I don't give a fuck, man. Go and take your win, you motherfucker.
And on that note, we shall wrap up the interview. Thanks, guys. Thanks for everyone for the racing today, and yeah, congratulations again.
Nice chat, Neil.
Yeah, thank you,
well
Neo.
done there, mate. He put his big boy pants on today.
There's definitely going to be a nickname being added to Neo after this interview. That was, you know, that was
Chronic Yapper.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Catch you later. Have a good rest of the evening.
See you.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right, guys. So that concludes the stream. Thank you all for being part of the stream, being on track, being part of the interviews, and as always, I'm Parrot Lazebeam. I've been doing the commentary today, and looking forward to seeing your next round for more of the DTM League as we go into round 6 and come towards the end of the championship. But without further ado, I shall wish you all a very good evening and catch you all later.